This is CBN NewsWatch.
And thank you so much for joining us for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. I'm Ephraim Graham. A U.S.-Polish-sponsored conference on the Middle East opens in Warsaw, Poland today. Vice President Mike Pence and Secretary of State Mike Pompeo are both attending, as well as at least 10 Arab states and Israel. The summit plans to address issues ranging from terrorism, extremism, and missile development and proliferation to maritime trade and security. But Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said, and others say, the focus of the conference is Iran. Before leaving for Poland, Netanyahu said Arab unity against Iranian aggression is an important message.
It's a very important conference. It's a conference that unites the United States, Israel, many countries in the world, and many countries in the region, Arab countries, against Iran's aggressive policies. It's aggression. It's the desire to conquer the Middle East and destroy Israel. And what's important is that many, many countries are uniting against this aggression. I think that's a very important message.
Iran called the conference an anti-Iran circus. Lebanon said it would not attend the event. The Palestinian Authority is also staying away from the event, even though Iran is funding its rival Hamas. The Palestinians charge the conference is meant to normalize relations between Arab states and Israel without first dealing with the Palestinian issue. Senior national correspondent George Thomas is here now with more on this conference. So what's the significance of the gathering in Poland and all that are attending?
Well, you know, as you mentioned, it's a conference co-sponsored by the United States and Poland. Initially, it was focused only on Iran, but then it became controversial because a lot of the European countries, as well as these 10 Arab countries, said, wait a minute, hold on, that's too much focus on Iran. By the way, you're not inviting Iran, you're not inviting another player, another major player, Russia. Then they broadened it out to cover a whole host of other issues. About 60 countries, as I mentioned, are coming over the next 2 days to the Polish capital. And we'll see what happens in these next 2 days to see what kind of agreement comes out of it, if any agreement comes out of the conference.
There are talks that the U.S. is planning to deploy more troops to Poland.
That's right.
What's the strategy behind this move?
You know, 24 hours ago, the U.S. ambassador to Poland made the reference that the United States would deploy about 4,000 troops to the country. Then 24 hours later, the Pentagon said, hold up, no, there's been no agreement. Why is this important? It's important because the United States is trying to send a signal to Russia after the 2015 invasion of the eastern part of Ukraine. There's a lot of concern among NATO countries that Russia's aggression is continuing and could potentially come into NATO's borders, so to speak. And so the deployment of these troops is a way to say to the Poles that the United States has your back.
And following the story we've mentioned, so some countries like the United States and Israel want to also use this conference to focus on Iran, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. As you saw in that soundbite from Benjamin Netanyahu, he just met just a few minutes ago with a top leader in the Arab world. Basically, it's very, very rare. They have not met before. Again, this is a way for Israel to make its case to other Arab countries to say, listen, Iran is an existential threat to not only Israel, but to the greater Middle East, and we've got to deal with Iran's desire for nuclear weapons, for their various threats across the region. So, yes, clearly the United States and Israel want to make it very clear to those participating that the world needs to come together and deal with the threat posed by Iran.
While we're on the subject of Iran, there was a deadly suicide attack in the country's southeast.
Right, yeah.
What can you tell us about that?
Well, it was quite deadly. 40 folks belonging to Iran's elite paramilitary Revolutionary Guard group. 40 of them lost their lives this evening. I think we have footage of this. Perhaps, yeah, it's a video that a passerby took it. The explosion happened close to the southeast province along the border of Pakistan and Afghanistan, a province called Sistan and Baluchistan. And according to reports, while this bus was traveling along the road, there was this car parked right next to it, and it exploded, and it was huge. And this is one of the deadliest attacks against Iranian soldiers in a very, very long time. And also it comes 2 days after Iran celebrated its 40th anniversary of the Islamic Revolution.
And as we prepare for this conference as well. Thank you so much, George. President Donald Trump is saying the prospect of another government shutdown over the proposed budget deal would be a terrible thing. The deal falls far short of the $5.7 billion he wanted for a border wall. Some conservatives have criticized the deal, but Republican leaders in Congress are urging the president to take it, and he might do so to avoid that government shutdown.
I have to study it. I'm not happy about it. It's not doing the trick, but I'm adding things to it. I don't think you're going to see a shutdown. I wouldn't want to go to it now.
I think he's got a pretty good deal here.
The deal would give the president $1.4 billion for about 55 miles of steel border barriers. The president did say no matter what, the wall will be built, and some of the funds will come from somewhere else in the budget. Today, on our CBN News Daily Rundown podcast, Caitlin Burke is talking to CBN's congressional correspondent Abigail Robertson about the latest on the battle over a spending deal in Washington. That is on our CBN News Daily Rundown podcast. You can go to cbnnews.com and click on the show tab to find the Daily Rundown page where you can listen and subscribe to it. A grocery store's message at the top of its weekly advertisement mailer is sparking some controversy in light of the border wall debate. McFresh Market, which has locations in Louisiana, Arkansas, and Mississippi, included a message that reads, "Heaven has a wall, a gate, and a strict immigration policy. Hell has open borders. Let that sink in." The ad drew attention on social media from opponents and supporters. According to Newsweek, the owner of the store told KALB that the meaning of the ad was if people were prepared to go to heaven. The owner says the ad is not racist and said he is not a racist. He told the Christian Post that about 85 to 90% of the feedback has been positive. The owner did say he received, though, one death threat. Focus on the Family is gearing up to blast live ultrasounds on monitors and screens across New York's Times Square. The pro-family group announced the May 4th event on CBN News' Faith Nation Tuesday.
We'll have great speakers, we're going to have music, but we're also going to do a live ultrasound of a third trimester baby. And I'm telling you what, with the 4D technology that we have, it looks like a one-year-old picture, a baby of a one-year-old. It's phenomenal. And there is no way a person's going to be able to say that is not a child. It is a child, and we want everybody to see it.
The undertaking comes as states like New York roll back restrictions on late-term abortion, permitting the procedure up until the moment of birth. And our top trending story on CBNnews.com is related to that new law. Simply go to CBNnews.com to find this story with the headline, "Man stabs pregnant woman and baby to death. No charges for killing child, thanks to New York's abortion law." You can stay updated on the news of the day and find much more at CBNnews.com. An Israeli company made headlines recently when the chairman of the board told the Jerusalem Post they could have a cure for all cancer within a year. CBN News interviewed one of the scientists, and CBN's Lori Johnson reports there's still more to the story.
Advanced Evolution Biotechnologies, or AB, began its business in 2000. 4 years ago, founder and CEO Dr. Ilan Morad and his partner, Dr. Hanan Itzaki, started research on a cure for cancer.
We didn't want to have another drug like everyone else that would give relief to some cancer patients and then the cancer would come back. We wanted really to cure something like antibiotics.
The concept is based on the same strategy used to combat AIDS. The patient is given a cocktail or mix of medications designed to prevent the disease from becoming resistant to any one drug.
Because, you know, HIV is very mutagenic creature, same as cancer. This is the problem with cancer, that is very mutagenic, and these mutations help the cancer escape the therapy.
Here in this tiny lab in Ness Ziona, Israel, these two scientists came up with a theory they hope will cure cancer. They call it Mutato. That stands for multi-target toxin.
The main thing here is multiple targeting. Instead of attacking one target at a time, we connect together several peptides and we attack several targets at a time. And because of that, the cancer won't be able, statistically, won't be able to escape the therapy, and this is what happened with AIDS. And this is what would happen here in cancer.
And they point out, since this cocktail specifically targets cancer cells, it is not as harmful to healthy ones.
The other thing is, because of these targeting peptides are connected together, and there's what we call the avidity effect, the side effects would be much, much, much lower. So it would be like an antibiotic.
Murad says if scientists could come up with 100 different peptides, they believe various combinations could treat each kind of cancer.
Each patient would get his own mutator that would fit perfectly his cancer. He would have almost no side effects, and in no time he would be cured completely, because the cancer cells would be completely killed, every one of them.
Murad says they have 5 peptides in the preclinical stage. When the article came out, it basically caught the medical community by surprise, because AB's experiments have been limited and not published in medical journals. CBN News approached Dr. Charles Geyer, Associate Director for Clinical Research at VCU Massey Cancer Center, who was one of many that urged caution. He said, "We all hope that a cure for cancer will be found, but cancer is a complex family of diseases, and there's a history of similar claims that have unfortunately spread false hope to many patients and their loved ones. This news is based on limited information from the company and its researchers, and the results from their preclinical experiments have not been published in any peer-reviewed academic journals. I would approach this news with healthy skepticism and also remind people that it typically takes years to translate promising preclinical research from the laboratory to evaluation in the clinic." Murad said he was surprised by the criticism.
At least give me the credit. Ask me what is the mechanism of our mutator, or read carefully the first article in the Jerusalem Post to see what I really said.
Murad said they need funding to move their research along faster and would like to collaborate with larger pharmaceutical companies. He also made clear the one goal on his mind.
I don't care about the money. I want to cure cancer patients.
Lori Johnson, CBN News.
Pastor James McDonald has been fired from the Chicago area megachurch he founded 30 years ago. Harvest Bible Chapel's elder board announced today a prior decision to remove McDonald over financial and character issues was sped up after the release Tuesday of what the church called, quote, highly inappropriate recorded comments that McDonald made. One of the comments on the recording discussed putting child pornography on the computer of Christianity Today's chief executive officer, apparently in retaliation for critical stories in the magazine about the church. McDonald's preaching program once received the Billy Graham Award for Excellence in Christian Communication. That was back in 2012. New Bible translation technology is helping to spread the gospel faster than ever. For more than 70 years, Wycliffe Bible translators have worked to give people the Word of God in their own language. It took 67 years to complete the first 500 Bibles. The second 500 took only 17 years. Now, updated software for smartphones called Pratts Lite will speed the process up even more. The software can run on a digital tablet or phone, enabling translators to upload and update their work more quickly. Coming up, getting paid while taking time off during a family medical emergency is something most people don't get to do in America. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle could come together on this issue. Stay with us.
CBN presents The I Wills of God, your path to overcoming fear and anxiety.
We're going to talk about some of the incredible promises God has made to His children.
In Pat Robertson's newest teaching, you'll discover the I Wills of God. I will rescue him, protect him, answer him, be with him in trouble, deliver him, honor him, satisfy him with long life, show him my salvation, and see amazing stories of God's promises in action.
What I felt was loved and treasured.
God spared my life twice in 3 days.
The good Lord had given me a second chance.
Break free from stress and despair.
The Lord doesn't want you to live in fear, but to know the rewards given to those who love God.
Call 1-800-700-7000 or visit CBN.com. The I Wills of God, your path to overcoming fear and anxiety.
Hello, I'm Terry Newsom. Did you know there are more than 148 million orphans in the world today? 148 million. But it was 3 little girls that taught me about the plight of orphans. My husband and I spent nearly a month immersed in the daily activities of a Ukrainian orphanage as we waited to adopt 3 sisters. I saw firsthand the utter loneliness, the pain of rejection, and the overwhelming desire to be loved. That experience changed me forever. And out of it grew a ministry from my heart called Orphans Promise. Today, we're helping orphans and vulnerable children in more than 50 countries worldwide. Thousands of children are now in safe homes. They're being educated, and they're learning life skills. I'm asking you to join with me and become family to these children. Will you call the number on your screen right now? Because every child deserves a chance to be happy.
Paid family and medical leave is a growing idea in popularity, not only among Democrats, but Republicans as well. Kimberly Leonard with the Washington Examiner joins us now with more on this. Now, Kimberly, you've reported Democratic presidential candidate Kirsten Gillibrand of New York is a co-sponsor of the Family and Medical Leave Act, and she wants to talk to Republicans about this as well, including the president. What can you tell us?
That's right. She reintroduced her bill yesterday that would essentially create a tax on both employers and workers so that they could later use that money to take time off, not just if they have a new baby, but also if they need to undergo treatment or they are taking care of a sick parent. And Republicans are growing more interested in paid family leave, but they have their own ideas. And she wants to talk to them about some of her plans.
What will her bill cover?
Her bill would allow people to take leave for all different kinds of medical issues, whether they're sick and need to undergo chemotherapy, whether they're taking care of an ill parent, if they've adopted a new child. It incurs a small tax on workers and on businesses so that way, if they need to find a worker to replace them, they can do that.
How likely do you think Republicans are to get on board with that plan, or do they have something different?
They're very unlikely to get on board with that plan. Republicans don't want to see other taxes. They don't want to see anything that might impact the budget any more than it already does. They have their own ideas. Right now, there are a group of senators who are working diligently together with senior White House advisor and first daughter Ivanka Trump to see whether there's a conservative idea on paid family leave that they can move forward on. Specifically, they're looking at ways that people might be able to use their Social Security funds early so that they can take time off during the birth of a new baby.
Broadening the conversation a bit, where do Americans stand on this issue?
The issue of paid family leave has widespread support. Everyone at some point in their lives faces either, some kind of a medical issue or the birth of a new child. And especially for women, it's very difficult once you have a baby to then immediately go back to work. And people in the medical field also worry that too many babies are going without the bonding time that they need with their parents, as well as adequate nutrition. And so it's something that's being pushed by business groups, people in the medical field, and now by both Republicans and Democrats.
And now that we have both Republicans and Democrats both talking about this, Kirsten Gillibrand saying she'd like to talk to Republicans, including the president, how likely do you think we are to see some movement on this issue?
Well, there will be movement in the sense that there are going to be Republican bills introduced. We're expecting beginning in March to see a lot of those different proposals come forward. I've been interviewing senators about it, and I'll have more stories coming at the Washington Examiner. But we do know that there are going to be more bills. There are going to be discussions, certainly hearings probably toward the end of March. And the president has said that he's behind this issue. As with most things in Washington, it'll come down to the policy details.
Indeed, indeed. It's nice to see them, though, working and talking about one issue together. Thank you so much, Kimberly Leonard.
Thank you.
After the break, Valentine's Day is a day away, and while many couples will be celebrating their love, some spend the rest of the year struggling in their marriage. What myths of marriage we can break to help support the union. Stay with us.
Parents, the Superbook Bible app is a great way to get your child reading the Bible, because in today's busy world, we can use some help. The free Superbook Bible app has fun stuff your kids will love. They'll have a blast learning the Bible, playing great games, watching cool videos, discovering heroes in the Bible. They'll have fun while they learn God's Word. The Superbook Kids Bible app, available now.
Life. It's meant to be lived fully. Jesus said it. I came to give you life. Life to the fullest. Life in your family. Life in your finances. Life in your body, mind, and spirit. Life in your everyday. At CBN.com, we're taking what Jesus said seriously. We're here to help you discover life. Life. Live it fully. CBN.com.
Discover the I wills of God. I will rescue him, protect him, answer him, be with him in trouble, deliver him, honor him, satisfy him with long life, show him my salvation.
What I felt was loved and treasured.
God spared my life twice in 3 days.
The good Lord had given me a second chance.
Call 1-800-700-7000 or visit CBN.com. The I wills of God, the latest teaching from Pat Robertson.
At least this week, people traditionally spend a lot of attention on romance, flowers, candy. But while Valentine's Day focuses on the positive, during the rest of the year, many couples buy into myths that can actually hurt their union. Paul Strand headed to Maryland to talk to one of marriage's biggest offenders.
Heading for the marriage altar can certainly be romantic and all lovey-dovey, and you're thinking marriage is going to be a big plus and have lots of benefits for you. But that kind of attitude can actually harm the chances of your marriage thriving and even surviving.
As the head of Marriage Savers, Michael McManus has worked for decades to make marital bonds strong nationwide. That's also helped him learn about myths that weaken those bonds. For National Marriage Week, this columnist wanted to share those to a larger audience. First, myth 1, love is what holds a marriage together. McManus says, no, it's a sacred pledge that provides the glue.
Commitment to the vows that have been said by billions of people over 2,000 years, that I will neither leave you nor forsake you.
And that's meant to be permanent, no matter the emotions of the moment. Then there's the myth, love is a feeling.
It's a decision to give of oneself to the other person, which is not a feeling, it's a decision, it's an act of the will.
Many believe this one, I can change my mate.
We can't change anybody but ourselves. And but changed people change people.
A related one, I don't need to change much.
No major reconstruction is needed. We're all sinful people.
One toxic modern myth, by shacking up, you can road test the marriage. This particularly matters because only 400,000 couples were shacking up in 1960, but over 60 years that has surged, reaching 8.5 million last year, most headed for failure.
Only 1.5 million got married. What happened to the other 7 million? They broke up. And those who marry after living together are more likely to divorce.
McManus encourages churches and older couples to do what they can to encourage young people to get married, and especially to arm them with useful reality rather than useless myths.
Churches that practice helping couples build lifelong marriages can virtually eliminate divorce in their congregation. That's pretty exciting.
Looking at your marriage with hard, cold realism may not seem all that romantic, but it gives your marriage the best chances of making it through the long haul. Paul Strand, CBN News, reporting from Potomac, Maryland.
And coming up, actor Chris Pratt is responding to backlash against him for where he goes to church. Stay with us.
When you give, smiles grow bigger. When you care, homes are happier. When you comfort, the hurt goes away. When we all come together to love, miracles happen.
Hello, I'm Terry Newsom. Did you know there are more than 148 million orphans in the world today? 148 million. But it was 3 little girls that taught me about the plight of orphans. My husband and I spent nearly a month immersed in the daily activities of a Ukrainian orphanage as we waited to adopt 3 sisters. I saw firsthand the utter loneliness, the pain of rejection, and the overwhelming desire to be loved. That experience changed me forever. And out of it grew a ministry from my heart called Orphans Promise. Today, we're helping orphans and vulnerable children in more than 50 countries worldwide. Thousands of children are now in safe homes. They're being educated, and they're learning life skills. I'm asking you to join with me and become family to these children. Will you call the number on your screen right now? Because every child deserves a chance to be happy.
Hello? Is this thing on? Hey, kids, do you love games? And do you love discovering things? Well, do ya?
Then you're gonna love this. It's the new free Superbook Kids Bible app. You can play games, watch videos, find answers to your questions, and a whole lot more. The new Superbook Kids Bible app. Free downloads available on iTunes and Google Play now. It has the power to influence weight loss, boost your immune system, and improve brain function.
We've seen an explosion of data on the role of the gut microbiome in health.
The free Build a Better Gut booklet reveals the latest information about the gut microbiome. You'll discover how your gut affects the rest of your health.
The gut microbiome has been linked to depression and cancer and heart disease.
Learn how to build a stronger, healthier gut.
The microbiome, if it's in good composition, are really protecting us all the time from more invasive things.
Get the Build a Better Gut booklet, free from the Christian Broadcasting Network. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to cbn.com/buildabettergut.
You need to make sure that your microbes are working with you, not against you.
And if you order online, you'll get immediate access to the Build a Better Gut series, a digital copy of the booklet, and related bonus material. Build a Better Gut today. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to cbn.com/buildabettergut for your free copy.
Actor Chris Pratt is a vocal Christian, and he is responding to critics who are now attacking his church's biblical beliefs about sexuality. The criticism comes after he appeared on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert and shared his experience of participating in the Daniel fast. LGBTQ actress Ellen Page responded to Pratt's interview about his spiritual side and criticized him for going to a church that is, quote, infamously anti-LGBTQ. She wrote, "If you are a famous actor and you belong to an organization that hates a certain group of people, don't be surprised if someone simply wonders why it is not addressed. Being anti-LGBTQ is wrong. There aren't two sides. The damage it causes is severe. Full stop. Sending love to all." Pratt took to Instagram to address the controversy, saying he attends a church that, quote, opens its doors to absolutely everyone. Well, that will do it for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. We thank you so much for watching. Remember that you can always get the coverage you are depending on at cbnnews.com. And of course, you can reach out and touch us anytime on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We look forward to hearing from you. If you'd like to comment and let us know, you can do that at newswatch@cbn.com. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.